didn't know the history between Alistair and Yurika, but I could tell she cared deeply for him. The only reservation I had was this. Was it really Alistair that Yurika met back then?
It's a good question to ask. Oh god, I'm so nervous.
On the day of Alistair's meet and greet with the family, my sister was bouncing off the walls.
Hey, Ryoushi, do I look okay?
What do you mean?
Do I look cute or not?
Who cares?
I sure hope Alice remembers me.
She was wearing the same ribbon as Alistair.
Come on in.
Okay.
I like Yurika's immediate big smile. Alice!
As soon as the door opened, she lunged at him.
Whoa! I finally found you!
It's you.
Do you remember me? It's me, Arisa! Yurika Arisa!
Yurika Arisa.
I'm sorry I lost contact with you for so long. I sent so many letters, but I had no idea what you were going through all this time.
I'm sorry. I don't remember you.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been 10 years now. Can't really blame you.
He didn't remember her.
He did, he just lied about it. The big goober lied about it.
When Yurika and I moved to a different room for privacy, a heavy silence hung over us. Yurika, don't get too hung up on it, all right?
It's okay. I foresaw this happening. More importantly, would you be there for him? He's probably really scared, surrounded by strangers.
She put up a tough facade, but it was obvious she was hurt. Afterwards, Alistair and my parents came out to the living room to discuss our plans. Partway through, an unforeseen accident named Cinderella presented himself, but everyone handled it calmly.
Don't call Cinderella an unforeseen accident. Don't go after my boy like that.
Our family was nowhere near normal, but as a result, we were well equipped to handle the unexpected. I was feeling pretty drained after that, so I stepped outside for some fresh air. Right as I pulled out a cigarette, my sister came out.
Ryoushi! You're smoking again.
Is it a crime to smoke outside now? But I went ahead and put it out before she could start lecturing me.
I never thought I'd see you come to my rescue. I still wish we had seen... I was actually, kind of interested to see Ryoshi's thoughts leading up to the... What if you were engaged to my sister? Because I'm like, it's so out of left field from my brain still to comprehend, what? So I was hoping to, get a lead up to his thoughts on the matter. But it's no, we'll just skip over that and go outside. Ryoushi, explain your thought process to me, please.
I didn't do it for you. I did it for Alistair. It was the only way to resolve the problem. What I said back there was the only way to talk Alistair, or rather Cinderella, into it. As far as I knew, Cinderella was the first of Alistair's personalities, and he was close with all the others.
Cinderella's close with all the others? Interesting. That is really interesting to know.
If Cinderella rejected our proposal, it would affect all the other personalities too.
I wonder if that's why Cinderella is one of the first, after Wizard, to do, episodically, that would make sense if Yurika also understood that. She's I gotta get Cinderella on my team. I need to get Wizard on my team. I gotta, fix Wizard first so that he can do what he needs to do. And then after Wizard, I need to do Cinderella, because Cinderella is close to all the other guys, and that'll make my job easier. Oh, Oh, I see. Man, I was busy calling Ryoshi out, and then he's like,
If you give me 2 minutes, I'll explain my thoughts to you.
I'm sorry, my boy, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm sorry.
That's why I put a fairy tale spin on the proposal. To win him over.
Okay. Alright, I take it all back, Ryoshi. A fairy tale spin by saying, why don't you just, like, marry her, though? By volunteering me as a prize?
You got a problem with that?
Not really.
That's what I thought.
So that was Cinderella, huh? He really did seem like a totally different person. And the way he talked was different too.
Well, he is a different person.
But he's still Alistair. They're all a part of him. They may seem like independent people operating outside of his memory, but ultimately they're just a manifestation of his emotions.
Apparently she had done her homework on dissociative identity disorder prior to the meet and greet.
Can they be fused somehow?
Doubtful. They all have their own trauma, and I don't think Alistair's prepared to bear the full burden.
I see.
She murmured flatly and averted her gaze.
Uh-oh, it looks like Red's out to play. What the... Alistair? Why is he glaring at us like that?
She tugged on my sleeve, trying to get me to look, but instead I turned her toward me. Which one of us is he glaring at?
I don't know, but I feel like it might be you. Is that really Alistair?
No, it's not. Something's different. Maybe one of the other personalities, but Alistair, he would never glare at me. Just pretend you don't notice.
How come?
I want to observe his reaction. He might be a new personality, or he might be Red Riding Hood.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She gazed into my eyes, nodded, and donned a smile.
Anyway, I sure was surprised to get that letter from you. To think your patient was the same guy I've been trying to find.
I wasn't expecting you to know him either.
Guess it's just one of those weird sibling connections, huh? Or maybe it's fate.
Fate, huh? Yeah, maybe so. From my perspective, Yurika was playing her cards well. Cheerful and energetic. Smart, clever, and rational. But that was merely her outward persona.
Man, brother's got her figured out.
That night, I was up late working when I decided to step out of my room for a break. Just then, I noticed the light was on in my sister's room. Is she still awake? Hey, Yurika. When she looked up, I froze. Her eyes were red and swollen.
He always finds you crying, doesn't he? What is it, Ryoshi?
Are you crying? Awkwardly, she wiped her tears. Who knew? Turns out you haven't changed a bit. I thought back to the past and smiled. I thought she was a whole different person, but I was wrong. If anyone changed, it was me. What's the matter? Come on. You can talk to me about whatever's on your mind. I conducted myself not as her older brother, but more like a mentor.
You really do sound like a hunter.
Is it about Alistair?
I'm just... devastated. I know you warned me, but when I saw it for myself in person, I even made sure to study DID in advance. I thought I was ready for it, but I wasn't.
Her voice shook with tears.
Ryoushi, what happened to the boy I loved all those years ago?
I reached out and stroked her hair.
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't complain. I need to be strong.
It's normal to feel off balance during the first appointment with a patient. The same thing happened to me too.
It did?
Of course it did.
What do I do from here? What should I do for him?
Just do whatever you can. Cook for him. Spend time with him. Things like that.
That's it?
That's the sort of thing his life has been missing all this time. For DID, it's vital that the patient has a support network. Problem is, Alistair has a deep mistrust of others. He won't open up easily. He may even reject you at first. But if it ever gets to be too much, I want you to find a friend you can vent to. We have to keep our spirits up if we want to heal Alistair. She gazed up at me intently.
Yeah. You're right.
Then she smiled bashfully. Your eyes are swollen. Go downstairs and wash your face.
Right. Thanks, Ryoushi. I feel better now that I got it off my chest.
Glad to hear it.
You really haven't changed a bit, huh?
I haven't.
Yep. You've always looked 30, but now you actually are. Damn! Pew, 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 pew. Got him. I was like, please flick her on the forehead. Yay, good.
I gave her a flick on the forehead for her bratty comment.
Ow! Gosh, you're so mean!
I mean.
So you're going to be moving out soon, aren't you?
Yeah. I don't want to hover over him too much.
Right. I think I get it.
Are you scared?
No, I'm okay now. I'm not alone anymore.
Good. I pray that you, Mom, and Dad can help save Alistair from the loneliness and isolation. The next morning.
Good morning! Oh, she changed her ribbon. Interesting. Huh. So she wore that ribbon, or she at least still had the ribbon and decided to wear it when she met him again. To be like, hey, I still have this connection with you. But now that she's like got a better handle of the situation, having met him and a couple other personalities, she's like, I need to kind of let go of that and become this new Yurika, kind of moving forward with herself. Okay, that's interesting. I like that. Personally, just like from a visual storytelling perspective, I like that little detail. It's nice.
Morning. When I came downstairs, I found my sister making breakfast. The instant I saw her face, I noticed something was off.
What? Is there something on my face?
What happened to your ribbon?
Oh, that? I took it off. I'm a grown woman now. Ribbons are too childish. Yeah, I don't buy that.
Good morning.
Morning, Alistair.
This was her way of expressing her commitment.
See? Me and Ryoushi, same wavelength. He put it a lot better than I did, but hey, same wavelength.
She was prepared to leave the past behind and move forward.
Yup. Hey, I could be a hunter. Telling you what.
I had gained the blessing and understanding of my family, but this didn't exactly solve all my problems. You've had a few days to adapt to your new environment. How's it going?
Good.
Any problems you need help with?
Nothing in particular.
I see. Anything on your mind?
Nothing in particular.
How are you feeling?
Normal.
Meaning,
Nothing out of the ordinary.
do you ever find yourself feeling suicidal or unneeded?
Not really.
I see. Glad to hear it. His expression remained stiff from start to finish. My family gave me regular detailed updates on his condition, and evidently he refused to open up to them. I leaned in close and lowered my voice. Alistair, if anything's bothering you, you know you can trust me, right? It's just you and me right now. I promise I won't speak a word of this to anyone else. Not like anyone could hear us in here, but I was told that if you add an element of secrecy, it encourages people to open up.
Mr. Arisa asked me if I want to go to college.
I see. Thanks for telling me. Incidentally, how do you feel about it? Do you want to?
I mean, it's just community college, right?
Right.
I don't see how a college education is going to matter at this point.
Would you rather just stay at home? Apparently he didn't like that idea either.
Do you think it's important that I go to college?
Well, what do you think? Let me rephrase. Why don't you want to go? At this, his face flushed red.
Because it's embarrassing.
How so?
Now that I've graduated high school, I should be going to university, not some community college.
So you want to go to university then? No matter which college you attend, no one's going to know you there. No one will know about your condition unless you tell them. Or are you afraid of what might happen if you go?
Exactly.
I see. Well, I certainly won't force you into it. If you don't want to interact with people, some schools offer remote courses. Then you could just ask someone to help you with your homework.
Like your sister.
Yurika? Well, sure, she could probably teach you. At this, Alistair actually took interest. He fell into contemplation for a long moment, before asking his next question.
Is your sister smart?
Yeah, I guess. Smarter than me, at least.
Smarter than a doctor?
Yeah. In fact, she's probably the smartest person in our whole family.
But you're all doctors.
Yep. I nodded and he exhaled in awe. But I thought he didn't remember her, so why would he react like that?
Why, indeed.
She's always been a smart kid. She could read a textbook once and memorize the whole thing. And she always got a perfect score on all her tests. I acted like I was revealing a secret, but really I was gauging his reaction. I guess you could say she's a genius. But I was never that smart, so I always resented her.
Really?
I was never gifted like she was. If anything, my grades were lower than average.
That's surprising.
I get that a lot. You'd think I'd be the mature older brother, but instead I spent half the time bitterly comparing myself to her. But hey, I still managed to achieve my goal, so it all worked out.
How did you do it?
I studied my ass off the best I could. His gaze lowered in hesitation.
She goes to college now, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll go.
Huh?
I'll go to college.
You know you don't have to push yourself, right?
I'll be okay.
You seem to have switched tack rather abruptly. Is there a reason for that?
Not really. I just feel like going.
Well, alright then. I was still curious, but didn't push it any further. No need to rush things. There's still time. I'm proud of you, Alistair. So I praised him for taking the first step.
Interesting why he wanted to go to college. Alright. Ryoushi! Alistair said he wants to go to school!
As I was drinking coffee and reading a book, Yurika ran up and wrapped her arms around my neck. Yeah, so I've heard. Her screeching in my ear annoyed me, but I was too tired to move, so I just let her.
That ain't a big brother thing. I don't know what is. Oh, your voice is so annoying. Please stop yelling in my ear. Yay! Now we can go to school together!
It won't be the same school, though.
That's fine. I'm just happy that we'll get to commute together. Oh, unless his classes start at a different time.
I think it's the same. And for the record, you'd better ask him first.
I know. So what are you reading?
I tried to ignore her, but she changed the subject. It's a crossword. I first got into this hobby back when I met Snow White. Each time I guessed the right word, it reminded me of his riddle, and before I knew it, I was hooked.
And that's why Ryoushi does crossword puzzles in Snow White's world. I take it he was still kind of watching behind the scenes, even if he was comatose. Kind of keeping a tab on Ryoushi. So it's not a novel? Let me see!
Get off me. You're so obnoxious. Eventually I got so irritated that I forcibly peeled her off of me.
You jerk! Don't you love your cute baby sister?
I've never once thought of you as cute.
Never ask that to your brother. Okay then, how about sexy?
I looked at her in disgust.
You mad, bro? So good. You mad, bro?
She snickered at me. Where did she develop this bratty attitude?
You know, I never knew you liked crossword puzzles, Ryoushi.
Not surprised, since we spent all those years apart.
Right.
Ugh, not again. The second I pushed her away, she would get that sad puppy dog look on her face, just like when she was little.
Hey, Ryoushi?
She looked up at me intently.
Alistair has 4 other personalities. Cinderella, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, and Kaguya, right?
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Well, he seems to have forgotten all about me.
I was already aware of this, but it was the first time she had acknowledged it out loud.
I was just wondering why that might be.
She wasn't crying, but still, I could tell she was really agonizing over it. It wasn't my job to comfort her, however. There's a few possibilities. Maybe his memories of you weren't that important. Or maybe everything that happened forced those memories down into his subconscious. Or
Maybe there's another personality lurking in there?
sure, it's possible. Take Snow White, for example. If I didn't know he existed, he might have faded away before anyone even knew he was there.
But Snow White hasn't disappeared, right?
I don't think so. He just doesn't show himself. But since the other personalities are aware of him, he must still be in there.
Right.
Come to think of it, there was another one. As I organized my thoughts, I remembered something.
What?
Going in order, he'd be Alistair's 5th personality after Cinderella, Snow White, Red Riding Hood, and Kaguya.
So there's 6 in total?
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah, because I never told you.
Why not?
Because he no longer exists.
He died?
Yeah.
How come?
He was too weak. Didn't even have a name. This was not something I took great joy in telling her. If only he'd had a consciousness. Was it wrong to lament the way things turned out?
So you met him?
Yeah, just once.
What was he like? It was a he, right?
That's what I was told, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He was a flawless specimen, with all the knowledge and memories of the others. At least, according to the psychiatrist who created him. But he lacked emotions, and his senses were numb. At least, that's how he seemed to me when I met him. Unlike the rest, he didn't have a self.
Imagine not having emotions. That's wild.
It really is.
So what made you decide to tell me after all?
She gazed firmly into my eyes. Just felt like it.
Oh, really? Say, Ryoushi, is personality fusion the only cure for DID?
One body, one soul, one personality. That's the way humans are meant to be. According to Alistair's previous doctor, anyway.
Do you disagree?
DID isn't a brain disorder. The patient protects their mental stability by disassociating from unbearable thoughts and memories. Force it all to fuse, and you risk destroying that stability altogether. Besides, how would you feel if someone told you that the body you're in doesn't belong to you, and therefore you should be erased? It would feel like a death sentence, wouldn't it? Each personality has his own mindset and values. Add fear and pain into the mix, and you've got a recipe for panic.
So that's why none of them know they have multiple personality disorder, huh?
For now. But they'll need to learn the truth sooner or later.
Interesting. So only Alistair is aware of his condition. But how are the other personalities aware of the other personalities without being aware that they have DID? Or do they just think that's normal? Like, well, everybody's got like 8 people in them, right? Huh? Am I missing something? Right? Because they said like, well, the other personalities are aware Snow White's there. So how do they explain that to themselves?
To be honest, I was debating about this myself. It would be all too easy to drop the bombshell, but there was no guarantee they'd accept it. Pushback was inevitable, especially during this period of mental instability. If they each have their own role to play, share information is necessary, and have their own defined space, then one might argue they're already well adjusted.
So they won't have to disappear.
I believe a total unification of the personalities is indeed the best option. But I won't force them. Ultimately, it depends on what they want to do. For right now, the top priority is to get him acclimated to his new life.
Right.